Okay, so I just picked up a EVH 5153 212 50 watt combo amp thing, and I'm here with my friend Adam.
Hello folks, how you doing?
He's like a real rock guy because he has tattoos and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, 4 of them dogs. I don't know
4 of them are dogs.
gets to be.
Hey, you know, good looking girls, whatever, I don't pass judgment. I wouldn't call them dogs, but whatever.
Are we supposed to make jokes like that anymore?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Probably not.
No, they are actually his canine, you know, dogs. But anyway, the first thing that I wanted to do was open up the back because the guy that I bought it from told me it had, I think he actually, I was talking to him when I came to pick it up, and I think he actually used the term greenbacks in these. I believe are not supposed to have greenbacks.
Yeah, I would have thought they'd be the
Van Halen,
yeah.
Right, which are essentially greenbacks. You know, my understanding, like as you know, Celestion makes, you know, like the, what is it, the G12Hs or whatever.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get a handle on all that, to be honest with
And
you.
there's like 8 different versions that are greenbacks. And then there's the blackbacks, the creambacks, and they're all like basically the same with like some different wattages and stuff.
So then would the EVH ones being based on the greenback just be what, like a more charged up version of it or something? Or?
It's supposed to, I guess, sound like the Heritage. It's supposed to be just like a rebranded Celestion Heritage Greenback, which is like the, you know, original vintage kind of thing.
Right.
Just with, you know, a sticker on the back that has the Eddie Van Halen stripes.
Is it still 25 watt?
I think it's listed as 20, but I've heard that it's supposed to be 25.
Geez, you know, you wouldn't think, like, not that I know a whole lot, but when I think of Eddie Van Halen, I don't think of 20, 25 watt speakers, you know? Even though
Right.
I know there's a reason for it, obviously, and he sure as hell figured it all out, but you kind of think of more of the high, really high power things, and it just, that wasn't him. And even going back to the pickups he used initially,
like low powered, right?
Yeah, just would never think that, or I didn't.
Right. Oh, and by the way, this video is going to have us just sitting here chatting for a while, so, you know, get comfy. you might want to pause it and make some popcorn or something.
This is a true to life movie here.
Hopefully I'll think to put little time things in the description that'll jump. Yeah. You know, because people are going to be like, I don't want to listen to these two hosers, you know, talking about like nothing. Okay, so I don't know.
Handle some things. You know what? These are drywall screws, it almost looks like.
Ah, boy, that's in there really tight.
I think that's why.
And they're all like loose.
Drywall screws have a real good bite. Yeah, that's a drywall screw.
Okay, we might not be getting into this.
This one's on real tight.
So usually I don't have to pull the screws like all the way out.
Yeah, these are, well, I don't know, for all I know, that's the way the amps are designed, but these are drywall screws for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were retrofitted in there or if that's what they decided to use because of their holding power. But not that this matters for the topic at hand today, but drywall screws are very, very versatile. A lot of people use them for a lot of other applications.
Okay, is there some way to poke a, you know, a little thing to pull that out? Can I get it with a tremolo arm?
Boy, that thing.
We're just trying to kind of like go into the hole and yank it out. Oh, cats. See, so I found this online for sale because I was looking, there we go, got it. Because I was looking for the Eddie Van Halen speakers. And they are actually greenbacks.
Oh, 25 watt.
Interesting. Okay. So maybe somebody online that watches this video can tell us if these are actually supposed to be the speakers. So let's see. We'll zoom in. Zoom. Okay. Yeah, that doesn't really work so well. Okay, but anyway, I don't know if those are supposed to be the speakers. But at any rate, that's what they are. Sorry, I've already Googled it. I couldn't find anything. So they are a pair of G12M Greenbacks, 25 watts, 8 ohms. So 2 of them are 8 ohms, and they are wired in series. Yes. So that's a 16
Oh, now that would be. What do you mean by that? What? Because
series?
Is it for not just for the people out there, but for me? Because I have no idea.
Well, see, but people out there might find it interesting. So let's see. So series, the impedance, the resistance, each speaker is 8 ohms resistance.
Right.
So series is one into the other and out. So it goes into one speaker, to the next speaker, and then back out.
Okay.
So 8 plus 8 is 16.
Gotcha.
If it went to one speaker, and then back out, and then to another speaker separately, and then back out.
Yep.
Now that's in series. No, sorry, that's in parallel.
Yeah.
So now the Ohm's law says that now the resistance halves.
So why would
So that would be 4 ohms total.
Is there a benefit to one over the other?
I've heard that. Can I have that screwdriver there? I've heard that running an amp at 4 ohms,
Right.
the output transformer gives it the most power. And supposedly there's some tonal differences also. I've definitely noticed tonal differences in speakers. I've noticed that 16 ohm speakers are brighter. They just, you know, with like a larger voice coil or whatever the case may be, 16 ohms are brighter, 8 ohms are less, and then 4 ohm speakers are even less bright, so even warmer. So that's...
like when you say warm, would we be talking potential for the mud too, or?
Yes, absolutely.
And so when you say bright, it's not necessarily piercing or anything like that. But it's going to cut through.
Yes. Yeah, but you know, I mean, like all of these terms that we use are so kind of subjective. You know what I mean? So, you know, one person's like, you know, cutting and, you know, aggressive tone is someone else's piercing and annoying.
Right.
And someone's warm and thick tone is someone else's like muddy and unusable.
Yep.
You know, so it's whatever. So anyway, so that's what we have for speakers in this.
Oh, I did just find one. I found a review of this amp from 10 years ago.
Okay.
And
this is a used amp.
According to the review, it came with 2 Celestion Heritage 30s.
Okay, that may be what these are.
This was a review done in England, so I don't know if it was any different for overseas or would be.
I don't know. I asked online. I asked on social media, and as everybody knows, social media can be great, and it can totally stink. I asked, and I said, "Hey," I put a picture of this, and I said, "Hey, I just picked this up. I just picked this amp up, and I can't find a lot of info online about it. Does anybody, you know, have any info? What speakers is it supposed to have? Things like that." And of course, somebody commented, "Have you ever heard of Google?" And it's like, okay, you know, thanks. I said I couldn't find any information online.
That's the fun part.
You know, like of course I did an internet search. But anyway, so the whole point of this, starting the video 20 minutes ago or whatever, was Adam asked about the output tubes, And the output tubes in this are the 6L6s instead of the EL34s. And you asked what they sound, you know, the difference.
Yeah.
Supposedly, EL34s break up a little earlier, so they're going to have a little more distortion earlier in the volume staging.
Mm-hmm.
And a little bit of a mid-range cut, so a little bit of a dip in the mid-range. And these 6L6s are supposed to be a little cleaner, a little more headroom, and a little more, okay, got it all buttoned back up, and a little more like even across the tonal spectrum.
Yeah, I was asking because one company, Mesa Boogie, is known, that, from what I've read anyway, for using a lot of 6L6s.
Yeah.
And I always think of them as being kind of a darker, heavier tone.
Right.
Although clean, everything you read about Mesas when you play them clean is that they're in Fender territory, and Fender, of course, is a big 6L6.
Right.
I associate Marshall with the EL34s, which is what Eddie Van Halen and
Right, because I think they
played.
break up earlier.
So,
You know,
I found
so-
it, that's why I wasn't sure. I was a little bit surprised when I first found out about these amps that he was using 6L6s mostly. And,
Yeah.
and that's why I was so curious about what the drive sound would be like.
I don't know. What I read was that it's more of a feel thing,
Mm-hmm.
you know, than really like if you A/B two amps that are identical. Like some of the Mesas have the adjustable bias that you can switch between the EL34s. So if you do them side by side listening, like a blind listening test, it's near impossible to tell the difference.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it's more of a feel thing. There's just a little different feel to it.
Yeah, that's,
You know,
I could see
The
it.
EL34s, I guess, are a little kind of a softer feel, and these are a little more aggressive and articulate.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
You know.
That makes sense.
But okay, so let's turn off the thing, and we'll put this somewhere. And yeah, I got it.
Oh.
And we'll. He's such a good helper. And we'll set this up, and we'll give a listen to it. Okay, so we're back. I had to, you know, put it up here. It's heavy, but anyway. So all I did was I turned it on, and it's on the clean channel. I set most of the knobs to like the, you know, middle position and all that, the tone and everything. And we're in just the first channel, and all I really did was just, you know, tune up. So we haven't played this at all. I only played it a little bit when I picked it up just to make sure everything worked. So this is the clean channel.
You want the gain up?
It's kind of bright. And it's surprisingly distorted
Yeah.
for clean. Turn the gain all the way down. Let's see what happens. Okay, and these red knobs are not stock. The dude, I guess, cracked some of the white ones.
Ah.
So he put the red ones on for the volume and gain.
That's cool. It works.
Yeah. Okay, so the gain all the way down actually turns it off, does it? Huh. Okay, so then it acts like a
Master.
master. Yes, exactly. And we have the power level here.
Wow.
So all the way down from 1 watt, all the way up to 50 watts.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's not like it clicks.
Right.
You know, like
It's
my
just
Marshall
full
heads
range.
that have, you know, the half.
Yep.
You know,
So you can do 42 watts.
Right.
18 watts.
Okay, so here. So we'll put it up to 50.
Yeah, then I'll
Okay.
back up.
Put the gain all the way down. Volume all the way up. Okay. It's like barely coming through.
Right.
Okay, so try goosing it up a little bit because it'll jump like huge. Yeah, see?
Yo!
Okay. And I'm out of tune again somehow. So it's pretty clean.
It's very cool.
Okay, you know what? Let's put this back down to about half. Let's put the volume to about half. Volume down, turn the gain all the way up. Okay. So
that's a nice crunch.
That's the clean channel.
Yeah.
With the gain all the way up.
It's got a lot of range.
Okay. And it's a little bright for me, so I'm going to...
You know, I was wondering how this would run, given that it was made by Fender.
Yeah.
You know, and they're known for the brighter amps. I always found that curious that Eddie Van Halen, you know, before this, he was a Marshall guy, modded, but he was a Marshall guy, but he went to Fender.
We moved to Peavey.
Yeah, and then the Fender.
The Peavy's, right.
To
now to Fender.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, you know, and not that this is a bad thing, I would do the same, but I'm gonna go with it. It was
money.
cash.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. You know, it probably the fact that, you know, he went to Fender and they said, we'll do anything you want to do.
Right. Why not?
You know, but who knows? So. Okay, so that's pretty cool.
Go to half.
Okay, and it shares, the first two channels share these.
The EQ.
EQ, right. Yes, and gain. Shares the gain and the volume and the EQ. And on these original ones, or at least the earlier ones, newer ones have concentric volumes.
Yeah, I've seen those.
So that you actually have a separate volume for all three channels.
Right.
This doesn't.
Right.
So an issue with this is that the second channel, there's a huge volume jump.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're playing, you know, and you go from, you know,
well,
and then, you know, see? That's a huge volume jump.
That gives you an idea of the power this thing has, because the volume's, what, 9 o'clock?
Right.
And the gain's at midnight.
Right.
And you're already...
Midnight. I call it noon.
Whatever.
He calls it midnight.
Midnight, noon, whatever. But when you go into the second channel, you're already at what for a lot of amps would be maxed out gain.
Yeah, you get some pretty crunchy gain. Yeah, it's pretty bright too. So when you click in to the second channel, the more gain,
mm-hmm.
It seems there's a big jump in treble too.
Right. On gain, and we've barely touched the volume on this.
And we're only on half power.
Yeah.
Don't forget that.
This thing will blow the roof off.
And we're sitting right next to the speakers.
Yeah, it doesn't. Well, you know, we've been doing this for a long time, so maybe our ears are shot, but it doesn't sound too bad. But
okay,
this thing's got a lot under it.
So, let's jump to you know, the presence control. Okay, hold on. Leave it where it is. Okay, so it has a global presence control that is for everything. So turning that down cuts some of that piercing.
For anybody watching this who would be like me and say, what What is presence? Because I see this all the time on certain amps and never understood.
It's like super high end.
So you're going like on the highs but way past?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So you're calling the dogs.
Yes. Okay, so that's kind of neat. Okay, so now let's try the third channel. We get the volume all the way down. So the third channel is that, right? Yes.
Curiosity, as you tend to be a Marshall guy, what's your, if we put this set up at your typical Marshall set?
Oh, it's different because
Same-
speakers are different, everything's different. You know, I just have these in the middle.
Usually in the middle, yeah.
Well, no, I just have them in the middle here for like demonstration purposes. So now, you know, I usually like to bump the mids up a bit, cut the highs a bit, and the lows a little. Okay, so we have the highs at like 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. This like about 2 o'clock-ish, and this like about 1 o'clock-ish.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, so I don't like it that bright.
Right.
And I think the mids kind of fill up the body a bit.
Mm-hmm. More than they kind of overwhelm it, you feel like? Or?
Yeah, it depends. You know, it depends on everything. It depends on my mood. It depends on what day of the week it is. You know? Okay, so I know on the, I have the JCM 800 Studio and the Silver Jubilee Studio that have the wattage switch.
Yeah, it was 5 watt or 20 watt?
Something like that, yeah. And on the full 20 watts, the sound is definitely like fuller and warmer.
Right.
And just bigger. You know, even if you adjust the volume down, because of course it's going to be louder. If you adjust the volume down, you know, then you go to the 5 watt and crank the volume up, it's still not quite as full.
Okay.
So, that's now at 50 watt mode. Okay, but yeah, you're like smiling.
Oh,
but we could turn the volume down.
Right.
You know what I mean? 50 watt mode doesn't mean that you have to be going at, you know, full speed. Okay, so we get the volume down. Okay, that definitely seems thicker. So I think we can bring some highs back in.
That's because of the added headroom of going up to 50?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, or whatever it is, the circuitry.
All those frequencies start coming back into play.
Who knows? It's magic.
It works. I'm going with it.
It's magic. Magic stuff happens in there. Okay, so that's what we got. Want to crank it up and see how it sounds, and then I'll give the chord to you, and you can dazzle the home audience.
Yeah, dazzle.
Okay. So you might want to back up.
It's going to be comedy.
Definitely back up. Okay, so I'll put it. Well, we'll see if volume about halfway up. And oh, by the way, the gain is only on half. Woo-hoo! that's pretty like thrashy kind of, you know. And
now, do you think this channel 3 would be that useful to you? Like, you know, you're the type of music you play.
I'd have to play with it for a bit, but I think channel 2 is maybe more my speed.
Right.
That's more like
classic,
a bit of a hot
vintage
rodded
rock,
Marshall. Yeah. Okay, so let's crank it up. Let's see. Okay, so I had the volume on like 3, and that was like really loud.
That would appeal to ceiling rock.
Yeah. Okay, so it's loud.
What, you know, another thing, the reverb, just given that, well, not on this channel probably, but
I've heard, yeah, good, bounce back to the,
just given that it's,
you know, because I
Fender
looked it up before I bought this. I've heard that the reverb is really nice on this, and it gets really a lot really quickly on the knob. So, you know, a little bit on the knob is plenty, from what I've heard. Yeah, it's a lot of reverb for having it on like 2. You know.
Actually, that was kind of cool.
It is kind of cool, but it kind of mushes all the
Well,
notes.
yeah, it does.
So it's kind of cool, but musically kind of useless.
Take off the...
But
Now that's amazing. This is the clean channel.
no, it's not. No, that's the crunch.
Oh, that's the oh, you're right. Okay, now I'm trying.
Right, that's the clean channel. Hold on, doesn't it sound like this, like a gate going on? Don't touch anything. Don't touch it.
Right.
Okay, listen to the reverb. It seems like it clamps up really kind of unnaturally.
Is it supposed to?
I don't know. Doesn't it seem like it goes?
It's not a warm. It's almost a slap-backed away.
But it has like a weird kind of end to it. It doesn't trail off. It seems natural.
Right. It's not spring reverb, is it?
No, it's digital.
Oh, yeah. That's probably why.
Yeah, well, guess what? I don't like reverb, so. It's really, at this point, we've been discussing it for 10 minutes. It's a non-issue anyway.
It was just curiosity. You know, it's funny. I'll wait till you...
Okay. Yeah. We're rolling. We're rolling. So now I turned it over to Adam, and he's going to play around with it a bit. I was using this guitar, Strat-ish, with the JB4, Seymour Duncan, and he had the brilliant idea to bring his Strat that has A2 humbucker in it. Do you know what kind it is?
Yeah, it's the bridge humbucker is the Seymour Duncan Alnico or Alnico Pro 2.
Yeah, how do you pronounce that? No,
I don't know. I usually say Alnico, but
hold on, let me call Seymour and see how you pronounce that.
and that pickup actually is the one that Slash first started out with, and then now he has his own pickup with them. It's sort of a little.
Okay, so it's a lot more like a vintage vibe.
Oh yeah. And
Like
then the two here.
You know, patent applied for or something. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Gotcha. Okay.
These two here, the neck and the mid, there's a gentleman named Chris Kronline who has a company called K-Line Guitars. He makes his own version of Fender type guitars.
Yeah.
And these are his signature series pickups. And again, Alnico 2s. So I tend to like, for the most part, more moderate pickups and get that good old style crunch. I like a good clean, but then if I want to really get it ripping, I just hit a pedal or something.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, what I kind of amazing right there. We wanted to see how different the Alnico 2s would sound versus a much more powerful JB in that guitar. But what I find pretty astounding is like we're hardly putting any gain here. This is not clean.
That's cleaner, but of course less output.
Right.
Okay, but you can go to the humbucker and turn the volume down a tad. Right?
Yeah.
So you can clean it up.
Just seems that, and I'm not saying this is a criticism. It has a little more bite than I frequently would think of on a clean channel.
Well,
which could be good.
I'm gonna put some criticism with the volume jump.
Yeah.
Channel 1 is virtually useless.
Let's see what.
Right, in a live situation, so you're playing clean,
Well,
where maybe you need it to be a little louder to kind of cut through a bit,
yeah.
and then you go to the crunch, where it's going to get buried a bit more with cymbals and stuff,
Right.
frequency, you know, all of a sudden there's that gigantic,
Jump.
jump
Quantum
way too
leap.
much. So, good try
Let's
it.
see what happens here. So we'll just do a simple G.
That's a lovely G chord. So see what I'm saying? In a
Yeah.
live situation,
It's a huge jump.
that makes channel 1 virtually useless. It's really cool for recording, or if you're going to stay on channel 1, or if you're going to go channel 1, channel 3, right?
That's, you know what, it's
You could do that. I mean, that's totally fine.
it's kind of interesting you say that, because one thing I've been reading a lot of amp reviews lately, and the one thing I see get criticized a lot is amps that have shared EQs. And sometimes they're really good amps. I mean, we're talking like Friedman and I'm having a mental block right now, but other top-notch brands.
Yeah.
But they don't have separate EQs, and a lot of
Yeah.
people don't like that because of exactly what you're saying. Is that if they're playing live, going from clean to dirty and back and forth, it's just not set up.
And on the flip side was me that, like, I just like one channel. I mean, I played a show once, and the guy goes, and the sound guy goes, "Okay, can I have some guitar?" So I, strum. He's like, "Okay, can you run through some patches?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry, what?" He's like, "Can you run through some patches?" And I'm like, "Patches? What do you mean patches?" He's like, the different sounds. And I'm like, "Okay, so volume all the way up is one sound, volume down about 7 is another sound, volume down about 4 is another sound. So there are my 3 sounds." Like, what are you talking about? So I just like one channel. So the shared, I mean, 3 channels is overkill for me.
Just the volume control on your guitar.
And tone
really,
control,
right?
yeah. But
It's ironic though when you think about it too, because Eddie Van Halen, those early days, the guitar didn't even have a tone knob on it. I don't believe. I think it was just just a volume.
Right.
And he played plexis, single channel.
my understanding is the volume knob was actually a tone knob.
No kidding.
It controls volume, but he used it. It said tone on it.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say it went to 11.
So it still did volume, but it said tone on it, because he would use it to adjust the tone of the guitar.
Makes sense, actually.
So just kind of like a little joke.
But it's funny though, because he used a plexi,
Right.
which I mean it was modded, but that's a single channel.
Right.
And
Yep.
sometimes you wonder. I think you're probably right. It'd be great for recording, but gigging it could be tough. That could be a tough.
Okay. Try the next channel.
That's the neck. Single coil. That's a lot coming through.
And the game's on, what, like
10, 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like on a clock, not 10, 11. You know, it's like less than halfway. Less than
I just wanted to see what would happen.
the volume would go up and down.
No. I wanted to see if it would keep sustaining though.
Oh.
Sometimes I do that. I'm playing around with it and I don't hear it in the band setting so well. I
Yeah.
just wanted to hear what it would. That's got a lot of touch sensitivity and a lot
So to me, that's too much gain.
of way too much.
For my taste, and you know, I have to play with it. Like obviously, like I've now played through this amp a sum total of like 11 minutes or something. You know, I have to play with it a bit, but it seems like it might be a little too muddy, a little too much gain, a little too much mud, and like you said, like really touch sensitive. I think maybe too much, because
I think so.
when I'm playing like with maximum gain that I would play with, I want a little more of that compression, a little more of that kind of sag that they talk about, where, you know, you're not hearing every time you inhale. It comes through the vibration body of the guitar.
Would you
like, you know what I mean?
Would you find those properties kind of cancel out the benefits of the JB? You know, that pickup being pretty bright, powerful cutting pickup, but now you're going to lose a lot of the attributes.
Yeah, I think the gain kind of mushes everything too much for my taste. But again, I haven't played through the amp for a lot, you know.
Right.
Play around with it, see. And we can go to another speaker cabinet.
Sure.
So we could adjust the tone with some different speakers added. You know, or unplug these speakers. It's just a 1/4 inch in the back. Unplug these speakers completely and use it just as a head.
Oh.
And plug it into whatever cabinet you want.
Yeah. Would you do? Would you still? Would that make sense though? You think?
Yeah, because it's the EVH 50-watt head.
Oh no, I mean, but in terms of tones that you would be getting, would it still mush out, or if you put it with different speakers, you think it would?
Right. You might like you know, maybe you know, like vintage 30s or something.
Yeah.
That's more
Cut.
tailored towards a higher gain. You know.
And you never hear greenbacks mentioned with this type of amp.
Right, I think it's a little too much. Maybe it's too much gain for greenbacks.
That could be.
Okay. Well, do you want to sign off? See you guys.